So two things in relation to that. One is when later in my career, when I became head of the United Church of Christ for Massachusetts. So I was we don't use the term bishop, but I was the equivalent of a bishop for about 400 congregations throughout Massachusetts. Um, within within 2 years, I think it was really my first year of being there. I had the privilege being the leader of it was about 900 clergy were there in Massachusetts. I had the privilege of convening them.
Mm.
And well, yeah, okay, fine. What'd you do with it? And to the point of your question, one of the things I did with it, and this has a pastoral and a prophetic dimension to it, because again, I never saw those as separate silos. To me, they were always connected. When we would gather, so maybe, 70 or 80 clergy in the room, I would say, let's do a histogram. And many of them had no idea what a histogram was. It's where you put your body where your answer to a question is.
Hmm.
So I said, okay, on this end of the room, so this was this was 2007. It was just before 350.org and the climate movement began. And I would say to them, okay, come be on this end of the room if, uh, let's say, four times a year, at least four times a year, you mention the climate crisis or climate change in your sermons. And here in the middle, if you do it at least once a year, stand here. And over on this end, if you never preach, yet to preach on the climate crisis, everybody,
Mm.
100% go
Wow.
there.
Wow.
And I wait for it, wait for it. They're all standing there looking at each other a little guiltily. And then I said to them, to the point of your question about kind of pastoral concerns, I said to them, listen, my friends, unless we begin preaching on climate, or at least mentioning it in our sermons at least once a month, within 15 years. So do the math. This was more than 15 years ago.
Right.
Within 15 years, 100% of our sermons will be on grief.
Mm.
And that's because that will be the only relevant comment religious leaders will be able to make to the circumstances we have allowed to take place.
Wow.
And it wasn't like, people like said, "Oh, come on." No, nobody had that attitude. However, to the point of your question, it's not like as a result of hearing that, everybody began preaching on the climate crisis at least once a month.
Right.
Perhaps in a subsequent question, we could talk about grief. But as you and anybody watching this video would know, over the past 5 years, the whole focus on grief has become more and more and more acute. And I'm so grateful for that on the one hand, but it's still the case that religious leaders, by which I mean actual parish clergy, have yet to take up the concern to the extent that we are called to, I think our times call us to.